Hello, everybody. So good to be here with you. I haven't been live on YouTube in a while, and I'm so happy to be back. I'm loving this platform, and I'm loving the interactions that we're having. So please know that you can be right here with me. I'm going to say hello here in the chat, and you are welcome to ask me questions, share your ahas. Let's make this really interactive and hugely value-based for you today. Today is about 3 offer tips, tweaks, shifts that you can make to turn all those maybes someday, let me think about it, into on-the-spot yeses. There's so many of us where you're just heart-centered, you're mission-driven, you know that what you have makes a huge difference, so much so that you'd almost give it away because you just want to help and make a difference for people. But we know that when people don't pay, they don't pay as much attention. And so it really is in our best interest as a business, in their best interest as somebody who's committing time, money, energy to their own transformation, that we set our offers up in a way that gives people what they need to be able to say yes on the spot. And this has to do both with tactical things we can do, which I'll share with you today, very strategic things that are very easy, low cost changes you can make to really see this shift from people where they love you, but they don't buy from you, to where they love you. And, here's the credit card. Let's get going. We want to see that action. Right. So that's what we're into today. So we're going to do some strategy and tactics, but I'm also going to start with the thing that really lays the foundation for all of that. And, that's the mindset shift, or we could call it an energetic shift that we need to make. I had an early client once come out and see me. Some of you may have heard of him. His name is Ryan Levesque. He has the Ask Method and a very successful entrepreneurial multi-million-dollar business. And he flew out to do a VIP date with me. Now, when people fly out to work one-on-one, it's $25,000 for the day. And they do it because they know literally in one speaking gig or with one high-ticket client, they're going to recoup that. And then, of course, with the strategies they learned, they're going to be able to get many more. So for people, in that category, it's a no-brainer to come out and do these VIP days. And I remember him coming and I said, Ryan, you can learn from anyone, right? We have all these connections. We know all the people that are doing all the great things. And, what had you come out here and do a VIP day with me? And he said, Lisa, I've studied all your stuff. I've bought your Speak to Sell program, your Event Profit Secrets program, your high ticket selling program, your Nail Your Offer program, all of it. And I've studied it all digitally and, even coached with you in groups. He said, so I've learned the tiles, right? I know the step-by-step. Your stuff's laid out so easy. You make it so simple. He said, but what I'm here for today is the grout. And the grout is the foundation. It's what holds it all together, right? If we lay all the tiles, but we don't have the grout, things can get a little bit slippery. So today, the first thing I'm going to start with is the grout. It's the energetic shift. Now, before we get there, I should just say, if we haven't met before, for some of you that maybe new to the Lisa Sasevich world, call it Planet Sassy. Just a couple of things of why to listen to me about this stuff. I mean, first of all, I've helped over 15,000 people in 134 countries over the last 15 years. Traveled a lot. But in the last 5 years, like a lot of people, done a lot of it from home. Well, in fact, we were live streaming 15 years ago. So anyway, done it, seen it, done all the formats. And, my passion is really helping experts, coaches, agencies, service professionals, all of us selling intangibles. Right? We're not necessarily shipping a box. We're not like, hey, here's your $25 cup. We're selling things that you can't necessarily see or hold. So we have a different kind of sales process. We have to start by making that intangible feel tangible to our ideal client. So it's got to feel so real that, when they invest, it feels like you're shipping a box. They're getting your system, your formula, and it's put together in a way that gives them confidence to be able to say yes on the spot. Follow-up's great, the fortune in the follow-up, we've all heard it. But what I found out is I don't really love the me who's in heavy pursuit follow-up mode. It's like, oh, I sent that email one more time to make sure you got it. I want to make sure my voice message is on the end of your, the top of your inbox. So I'm calling for the 58th time. Not pretty on me. So I decided, I'm going to go ahead and figure out what are the markers that I need to support people in having what they need to make an on-the-spot decision. They're inspired, they get it, they've got what they need, they can say yes and feel really good about it. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'll tell you, doing this, focusing on the irresistible offer, I call it, because hey, when the offer is irresistible, you don't really need to sell. Kind of sells itself, right? So focusing on that for the last 15 years, like I said, I've helped people all over the globe. And I started, I had a 1 and 3 year old 17 years ago. They were 1 and 3. Now they're off to college, right? But when I started, I had 2 toddlers in tow. I was a single mom very shortly into starting. And, I've done over $50 million in sales from home, helping people all over the world. So I've done it with exactly what I'm going to share with you is my point. So let's dive in. And, you're not my test rats. Let's see who's here today. Let's see. We have Eileen. Hello. So good to see you. Sounds like some others on the call as well. Alexa, so good to see you. So yeah, thank you. Let's be interactive. I will make sure to check the chat every once in a while. And so if you have ahas or questions, one of the ways to do that in the chat is to say, my question is, and then fill in the rest, or my aha or my insight is, and that kind of tips me off of what you got going there. All right. So the first thing, as promised, is about a shift in your energy. Now, we're going to talk about this from 2 perspectives. It's an energetic shift. The first one is about how you relate to them, right? So how do we get maybes to yeses? Well, the first one has to do with the person you're talking to, the prospective client. So many of us believe that it's respectful. We don't want to be pushy. We don't want to be salesy. So we believe it's respectful if someone, says they need to think about it, or they need a little time, or they need to check with their team or check with their spouse. Many of us believe that it's good to let people inquire, think about it. Like they check with their head. Let me think about it. Sure, we'll say, why don't you sleep on it and we'll talk tomorrow, or think about it, or maybe they want to survey the world, other people, about their decision to work with you, to engage with your service. And what I've learned over time is that giving people or encouraging people to think about it or sleep on it, it's not actually in their highest good. It's not in yours either. Excuse me. So it's not in anybody's highest good, because what happens, have you ever heard the saying that the heart has no questions and the head has no answers, right? They got there with their head. They're talking to you, or they're watching your YouTube or your masterclass, your webinar, your stage talk, the one-on-one call they booked with you, the strategy session, the in-office consult, however your business works, right? I know I've got a lot of practices here. Maybe you've got a medical practice. Anyway, they got to you because they thought about it. So that they've already consulted their head, right? That's done. But once you guys are talking and you're talking about what's possible for them with engaging your service, what's possible for them if they follow your system, if they do your work, if they work with you, then that is where you want to tap into the heart. The head made the decision. It's got them there. So we don't want to keep relying on that. So that's where you do want to talk about what would be possible, if they could broadcast on YouTube and gain all kinds of new clients and help more people. Maybe, or what would be possible with your agency services if they could have the reach and the new eyeballs they wanted? Or maybe it's in the health space. What would be possible if they could live symptom-free of that thing that, I have a client, it's multiple sclerosis, symptom-free. She's been symptom-free 25 years over that, and she teaches other people how, and she's not a medical profession, but she has a system of how she did it. So what would be possible with that? So we want to inspire from the heart once the head has already gotten them to our talk, or our one-on-one conversation. So encouraging people to think about it is not in their best interest. In fact, I used to be someone that would think about everything, do the T-squares, the pros and cons. I'd ask other people what they thought, and they weren't in my shoes. They didn't have my business. They didn't know what I had at stake. They hadn't invested what I had. People that weren't even necessarily in the same space. I would go online and, try to look at all these reviews and see what I could find. And basically what I discovered I was doing, and this is the early years where I was struggling and I hadn't made the big leap yet, is I was killing possibility with my head. My heart knew it. I felt it. I felt the inspiration, but in my head, I would kill the thing. And so that's one of the pieces is stop encouraging people to think about it and instead do what we're going to talk about next, which is set up your offer to give them what they need to take the leap from their heart. And think about yourself. Let's just test this theory, right? Don't take my word for it. Hi, Fernando. Good to have you here. Think about yourself. Think about what's the most exciting times of your life? What are the times where you really look back and you made a leap? Not just an incremental gain, but an actual quantum leap, like something big happened. Did you, what did you do? Probably there was a moment it was preceded by that felt a little scary, but it probably felt exciting too. And you may have heard fear and excitement, they kind of read the same way in our body. So, you could say, I'm so afraid, but you could also say, I'm feeling so excited. And I promise you, wherever you feel that, we're all a little different. They read very similarly. So, you were probably made a leap. You made an investment you weren't planning on. You put something you committed to in your calendar that you didn't have the time for, but you went for it. So, I really want to encourage you to remember that because that is what you are trying to inspire in the other person. Okay. So that's number one, the first part of number one. Okay. So the energetic shift when you're thinking about them is let's inspire the on the spot sales. Let's do the things I'm about to show you in number two or three that do give people what they need to say yes. Now, there's a second part to number one, and that's another energetic shift. And I've been talking about this more and more lately as I pay attention to it in my own life. So I'm always practicing the things I'm sharing. And that is, you could write this one down. Money loves speed. Money loves speed. Now, I think I first heard this from my original mentor in 2009. She used to be teaching online sales. Her name is Allie Brown. And I think she said that. And, I heard that and I loved what she was doing. And talk about heart versus head. I mean, I had, a newborn, a 3-year-old, and my then husband going through residency to become a heart surgeon. Like, I had the best excuse of anyone not to sign up for a program, didn't have the time, didn't have the support, and sure as heck didn't have the money. I mean, we were sharing a car, right? And living in a 2-bedroom apartment in Tucson while he was going through residency, sharing a car. I was making payments to be at the seminar I was at where she was speaking. I think it was 8 payments of $3,300. She made an offer to coach with her for a year. There was a $25,000 level and a $100,000 level. And guys, I knew in my head knew I didn't have the money. I certainly didn't have the time. So if I talked to my head, it wouldn't have happened. But in my heart, I knew that I needed this kind of mentorship. I needed to put something so big on the line that I could barely breathe because that's the only way I was going to carve the time and find the money, with my very valid excuse of a newborn and a 3-year-old and a husband in residency, right? So I knew it. I just knew it. And I leapt with my heart. And I did a little bit of this like automatic writing I do. God, Lisa, God, Lisa. We have a little dialogue. And I just got from the heart, like, you know what to do. You already know. So don't overthink it. And I registered at the $100,000 level, scraped it together. I don't even know how. It lit a fire in me. Fear, excitement. I could have interpreted it either way. I just went ahead and got excited. I did literally $40,000 of sales. I'd never done, I was doing 80,000 a year. So I had never done more than $6,000 of sales. I like did 8 times the sales that month just to pay that thing off. But then I kept doing it, right? I mean, I hadn't even started coaching with her yet. So there is something that happens when your client makes a commitment or when you make a commitment. And that's what I want to talk about now. Money loves speed. When you hear something that makes sense to you, when you find a person that has what you want, they're saying the thing you need, don't overthink it. When we're overthinking it, what happens is then the person that, our ideal clients, our prospects, it's like business karma. We're overthinking in our life. Guess what we get? We get a bunch of people overthinking everything. And that's why when you look around and you say, God, I've got these people, they loved my talk, they stayed till the last minute, but they didn't buy. So it's two things. Again, it's the strategies that we're going to learn in step 2 and 3, but we have to set this foundation, this energetic shift, both to not be encouraging our clients to sleep on it, but we have to look at the woman, the man in the mirror and make sure that we're kind of cleaning it up on our side of the road. So, pardon me. My honey gave me a beautiful breakfast and it's stuck in my throat. Okay. So you guys get it, right? There's an energetic shift. Money loves speed. And I'm not just going to leave it at that. I think a lot of people say that, or we hear terms out there a lot like take inspired action. I love that idea. It's really what I strive to do and what I strive others to do. This is how we turn maybes into yeses. But how do you do that? And I've actually gone as far, and I do this with all of my work, as you'll see today. I actually do that by a formula. And here, you're welcome to also note this down so you can try it. The formula for inspired action, right? If money loves speed, then how do we get there in a way that makes sense to us, to our head and our heart? And that formula is ready? Listen, act, trust. Okay, I'm going to explain it. Listen, act, trust. Alexa loves this. I love this. I love that you love it. I do too. Hi, Jenny. Oh, we have people here from the UK, all over the world. Feel free to say where you're coming in from. This is fun. So money loves speed. Taking inspired action is how to be speedy. Helping others be speedy is you structuring your offers in a way that gives them what they need to be able to be speedy. And the formula, let's take it even a step deeper. I don't just want to give you a new catchphrase, inspired action. I want to tell you how to do it. So the formula is listen, act, trust. And what do I mean by that? What does that look like? So listen is, and for some of you, it may be feel. We all like kind of get this differently. Some of us are auditory, some are kinesthetic, but I'm going to use listen because that's kind of how I get it. So listen is like listen for the taps. When something's right and you know it, like you may be feeling that while you're here, like this woman speaketh my truth, right? So when something feels right, listen to it. Feel the tap. Oprah says, if you don't take the tap, you're going to get the 2x4. We don't want the 2x4, right? We get the tap. We know we got to address that health thing. Do it. Act. That's what the act is. So like we get a tap that there's something, let's use our health, that we need to address. Are we going to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait until it's something that it feels like a 2x4 when we find out what it actually is? Or are we going to act? Are we going to make that appointment, right? Get that thing checked out. So that's the first tip is listen, act. So money loves speed. We're inserting that. The faster that you can close the gap between when you feel or hear or notice the tap and when you act, that's your side of the fence of not overthinking it. So that when I started doing that, and it started with that $100,000 investment, investing into a year-long coaching program with a mentor that made sense to me, that 7 months later, by the way, I went from 80,000 to 2.2 million in sales, and I made the Inc. 500. Number 169 of the fastest growing privately held companies in the United States, number 20 in women-owned businesses. Can I see some hurrahs? Right? That was a huge accomplishment. That was 7 months after investing that $100,000, listening to my heart. Didn't make sense in my head. I just want to show you this real life example. So I listened, I knew it, and then I acted. It seemed ridiculous. If I asked anyone in my family or any of my friends, they would have told me not to do it. You're crazy. You've got a new baby, right? You've got a husband in residency. Like this is crazy. So that would have killed the possibility. That would have killed the version of Lisa Sasevich that helped $2.2 million worth of people get their offer out, right? When I talk about the money, what I want you to hear is units of transformation. The money is representing how much of a difference we made in the world. And so if you can start also adopting that mindset, money loves speed, it's all connected. It's all connected in the good that we're doing, right? So listen, act. So I close that gap. And now I do that in my life. Like I said, I used to overthink everything. And then the third piece is trust. Trust is about trusting the decision you made, right? Because you were a little afraid, maybe it was a big leap. Your body was tingling. It was like, didn't make sense even on paper. But I listen, I act, and then my one that I'm always growing on myself on, the one that I really have to stretch myself even today is trusting the decision I made. I'll make a big investment. I invested recently, and it's not a one-time thing. You don't coach with just one mentor. Some of you are like, God, I'd love to coach with you, Lisa, but I'm in other programs. Great. My stuff on how to make your offer irresistible will make all your other programs actually pay, right? So you're in programs to get more eyeballs. Do you want that to pay? Then you need the offer part. So for me, I'm always coaching with multiple mentors. recently I invested $25,000 to learn how to create a certification program so that I could have other people be able to go out there and be nail your offer certified coaches so they could enjoy helping businesses because every business has an offer and they could use my systems, the systems that have done over 50 million in sales, they could have their own business doing that. So that was at the end of 2024. Here we are, less about 6 months later, and I have 50 certified coaches. I've got 30 that have graduated and 20 new ones, and they're $5,000 each to come through the certification. So do the math. I've made $250,000 and helped 50 people start a new life. That's a 10x investment from 6 months ago, putting in 25,000. So I'm trying to show you, and I made that decision. I saw this woman speak. I wasn't even thinking about it. It made so much sense to me. I invested on the spot at a speaking gig, a $25,000 offer. I didn't even have a one-on-one call with her. And 6 months later, here I am, right, having 10x that investment and even more because a few of those people have bought VIP days with me. So that is the part after I made that investment. And I'll tell you, I'm human too, right? I made $25,000 investment to learn how to become certified. And after I made that investment, of course, all of the fear kicked in. I was excited, but I was also reading the fear. And I was like, what am I doing? We've got all this travel coming. I'm going, helping my daughter move into college. I want to be available. I've got all my VIP clients right now. And so all of the concern started to kick in. Now, a lot of people at that point might refund, but that's another thing about this energetic shift, because if you don't trust the decision you made, and which I did, I just went ahead and said, Lisa, you made the decision for a reason. Listen, act, trust, stay with it. And thank God I did. But there's a couple people that didn't make it all the way to my certification program because they registered, they got excited when they heard me on the masterclass, and then they looked at their calendar and they got afraid. And it breaks my heart because I know what's possible for them living in a world where you can help people with your offers. So anyway, trust the decision you made. The other thing is, do you want to create the business karma of refunding? So if you're getting a lot of refunds, people who register with you, but then they don't show up, or they refund, or they book a strategy session and they don't show up, again, man in the mirror, look at your own life. I know it's a little confronting. Don't hate me for this, but ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you making decisions and changing your mind? Are you setting appointments and then not showing up? Now, I know nobody here would do that, but hypothetically. So it's good to take inventory, because the good news is that if you find that you are unconsciously doing that, maybe you didn't even realize it, like you've got 10 Amazon packages waiting to be returned. It's normal. That's what you do at Amazon, right? But if you're getting a lot of returns, this might be something to address. So just saying, okay? I'm on your side here. Okay, so that's number one, is we want that energetic shift. I have my notes up here, so if I keep looking, it's like, what's the next thing I want to talk about? From heart versus head, don't encourage people to think about it. You, on your side of the fence, keep taking inspired action, meaning listen, and when you know it, fast as you can, take the action, close that gap. And then after you've taken the action, trust the decision that you've made. Okay, that's the first piece. So who got value out of the first piece? Let me see. Thumbs up, hoorahs, insights. I want to hear it. Okay, so then let's get into that's the, what will we call that? That's the mindset shift, right? That's the energetic shift. All right, I'm seeing some good yeses here. Travel by Ken, hello. All right, Eileen, absolutely. So that's the energetic shift. Now let's talk about strategy with number 2 and number 3 of our 3 tips today. So strategy-wise, first let me take those of you that have more of a one-on-one practice, like the way that you make your offer is through an in-office consult. Maybe you have a practice, a law practice, a medical practice. Maybe you're an agency and you talk to people one-on-one. Maybe you do webinars or you speak from stages, but you invite people into one-on-one strategy sessions. Now, this is usually recommended when you're selling high ticket. So meaning your offer is $2,000 or more, then you can be profitable selling, talking to people, making your offer one-on-one. We do have a whole model for that if you're not following a structure for your one-on-one, just to make sure you know it exists. It's called our high ticket selling system. And you can find anything. Just go to my name online, lisasasevich.com, and you can find anything that I reference. But so a lot of what I'm sharing with you is coming from that. I want you to know sort of the source material on this piece, on this number 2. Now, number 3 is going to be about those of you selling one to many. You're selling from stages, webinars, events, master classes, YouTube lives. So we're going to get there. Stay tuned if that's you. And some of you are combining both. So you're going to get value all the way through. So let's talk about, I'm going to call all of that where you're talking to someone one-on-one, I'm going to call all of that a qualified appointment. Some of you call it a strategy session, a consult, a discovery session. So I'm talking about that. Now, in coming here, some of you may have seen a video by one of my new certification clients. His name is Vinny. He helps people with YouTube. In fact, he helped me with this. So hi, Vinny, if you're there. I know you are. So, we recently had about 10 minutes on the phone. And this is what I do in what's called my Monetize Your Mission mentorship, which I'm going to tell you about today because I'm running a special. Tomorrow's my birthday. If you're here live, you might be watching later, but if you're watching live, April 15th is my birthday. And I decided to do a special. So today and tomorrow, 18 is my Jewish lucky number. For those of you that are in the tribe, it means l'chaim or to life. And so I'm doing an $18 special to be able to coach with me in the Monetize Your Mission mentorship for 2 weeks. It's a 14-day trial. At the end of the 14 days, you can just email us and say, thank you, that was great, and go bye-bye. Or you can stay, and then you'll get a new member rate of $297 a month. So it's very easy to get in, very easy to get out. But I'm sharing that because this 10 minutes of coaching that I gave to Vinny, and this is going to share all the points of how to make your strategy sessions pop. I coached him with what I'm about to coach you. And he did a little video on the invitation for this YouTube live where he shared, and I was like jumping out of my chair with excitement, that he went to a little gig. There was only 6 people there. So he was just going to go give his 10 minutes of value. And that's it, give his email out, and hopefully some people want to connect with him. And that's kind of what we do, right? When we don't have a place to pre-think our offer, I call it reverse engineering. So we look and we go, okay, a week from now, I have a little 6 to 10 person gig. I'm stopping by somewhere. I'm going to provide some value. I'll give out my business card. So when people are on the Monetize Your Mission mentorship, what happens is that they're there twice a month with me. You jump on for 90 minutes, the first and third Thursday of every month, and you open your calendar. It's a working meeting. It's kind of like putting me in your company as your offer, chief offer officer, right? It's your sales department. So if you can't afford a sales department, you're not that big yet, I'm your sales department. So you jump on twice a month like Vinny did. You open your calendar and you go, oh, look, I've got a strategy session coming up. Or, oh, I've got a chance to stand up at this networking group and introduce myself. How am I going to make sure that leads to my offer? And what we're finding is that when people focus on their offer just twice a month like that, they are really enjoying the promise of Monetize Your Mission mentorship, which is that you could add $3,000 to $30,000 a month or more to your bottom line just by focusing on your offer twice a month. So I'll use Vinny's example, and I'm going to share with you the 3 things that you need to be doing during when you're offering one-on-one appointments, so that you don't get a bunch of tire kickers. You actually get qualified appointments. Okay. So this is what Vinny did. I also have a woman who, her name's Cindy. She is in the mortgage industry. So I want to kind of you guys to see yourself here. So he's more of a YouTube agency. She's in the mortgage industry, helping mortgage professionals, right, to expand their businesses. So she's a coach in the mortgage industry. She went on stage to a large audience. She wanted to get 50 strategy sessions. She came on the Monetize Your Mission call, and we talked about it because she looked in her calendar. She said, oh, I've got this talk coming up. We talked about exactly how to do this, what I'm about to share with you. Her goal was to get 50 strategy sessions out of this office. That was going to be like 5x more than she ever had. I think most she got was 10. I gave her these tips that I'm going to give you now. She came back with 103 strategy sessions. It was actually a breakdown because she didn't have the sales team to handle it all. So then she got back on Monetize Your Mission, and we talked about how do you decide who to talk to? What do you do with the rest of them? What are we going to do here? So it's really having me on your sales department. So I put the link there, and you can try it for just $18. The next call's coming up this Thursday. I I think it's at noon Pacific. It'll all be there when you go to the link. So here's the tips that I gave to Cindy to get her over 100 strategy sessions from one talk, and that I gave to Vinny, which got him out of 6 people. 2 people bought his $500 group program, and 3 got on a strategy session with him. One that he did while he was driving home and sold them a $1,700 a month package. So do the math, right? A $1,700 a month package plus 2 people bought $500 programs. He made $2,700 following this advice before he got home. So when I tell you that my intention is for you to add 3K to 30K a month to your bottom line, I'm not blowing, what is it, smoke up your skirt? This is real. I'm not kidding about it. And so anyway, you'll see, should you decide to join me, how this all works. If you do your $18, you come, be on the call Thursday, push everything else aside, and let's do this. If you can't make it Thursday, you'll get the replay. You'll still get as much value. So here's the 3 tips, right? Enough preamble. So what we did is we looked at, what do people need? Remember, this is about you setting up your offer, even if it's an offer for a consult, or what I call a qualified free session. What do you need to include so that the right people take you up on that qualified free session? We don't have time to talk to the wrong people, right? So there's 3 things, and I recommend that you jot these down so that you can make sure and include them in anything you're doing that's inviting people to a free or paid consult. The first thing, so a lot of people just say, come have a discovery session. That's all, right? Imagine transforming that with these 3 things. The first thing is that you want to name the session with an outcome-laden name. Now, we have a whole structure for how to do this. I'm going to give you the high points. An outcome-laden name means that you're using words that describe the transformation or the outcome that someone will get from speaking with you, from working with you. So instead of saying, I'll use Cindy as an example, come have a discovery session, she's saying, let's have a mortgage industry profit breakthrough session. Now, I don't know if that's exactly what she called it, but that's the idea, right? Like, what do they want? A make more money mortgage industry breakthrough session. You could call it that. We want to use the words they use, right? Let's have a, best year ever in the mortgage industry discovery session. So let's name it something that has the thing they want, the outcome they want right in the name. This kind of goes along with another teaching that I have that says, what they're buying is they're buying the destination, not the plane. When we say have a discovery session, that's the plane, that's the vehicle, a discovery session, a strategy session, a consult. The destination is make more money, do more loans, have your best year ever. When we combine them into the name of the discovery session, now you're on fire. Okay, so that's the first thing. And you guys could go ahead and put the name, your new name of your discovery session right here into our chat. I'd like to see it so we can see some good examples. So if someone was going to talk to you, what would you call the session to have it be outcome laden, right? Like really speak the transformation. So that's the first of 3 things, right? In number 2 here. The second thing is we want to have, okay, she has from fear to freedom discovery session. I love that, Rebecca. Exactly. If people are really living a fearful life and they want to feel freedom, that would be a great name. And your ideal client is now going to be attracted like bees to honey. Well done. Quick study. Should stay around me. Okay. The next thing is that you want to have not just an outcome-laden name. The second thing to write down is a promise, right? So we want to name the discovery session, and then we want to promise. Now, this is where you really need to get specific. So the promise that you do not want to make, okay, this is the big mistake. Okay, so some of you are going to go, oh, but it's okay. I'll help you get past it. The big mistake is what the promise is free coaching. So discovery sessions, strategy sessions, in-office consults, this is not a free coaching session. This is not a try before you buy, okay? That's not what you want to do. It's about what it's called, discovery or strategy. Kind of, we use the doctor analogy. When you go into a doctor, you're doing a diagnosis first, right? We're diagnosing, we're strategizing, we're kind of checking the landscape. So you wouldn't go in and be like, hey, doctor, how much is it? They'd be like, I don't know. I've got to do a diagnosis before we can create a strategy, right? Before I can tell you how much it is or what the prescription is. So think of yourself the same way. So the promise is the second thing. You've got a name, right? Like an outcome laden name. Now, time to shine, Jenny's saying, it's not really how people talk, Jenny. Like people don't say, I don't wake up, think of pillow talk. I don't wake up to my honey in the morning and say, I've really got to learn how to shine, right? Now, your brand, I know you, is visibility. So it might be more visible now. Discovery session. And what do people actually say? Get out there in a bigger way. Discovery session. Get known. Discovery session. What do your clients actually say? Right? One of the bonuses when you do the $18 special after your 2-week trial, should you choose to stay in our new member rate, is you get my $500 program. So you come in for $18. If you decide to stay, it's $297 a month, and you get my $500 program, Nail Your Offer 101. And we actually tell you how to find the words to use specifically in Nail Your Offer 101 for naming the discovery sessions, naming your talks, naming everything else. Okay, but the outcome. So what do I mean? So for example, if Jenny here decides to upgrade her name to be visible to the clients who need you discovery session, right? Or something like that. We want the outcome in plain English. The promise of the session is not free coaching. It's more around find out what's standing in your way from getting exactly what's standing in your way from being seen and visible and known to the clients who need you, right? Find out the number one thing that's standing in your way, plus a plan, what to do about it. Because that's really what you're doing on the discovery sessions. You're seeing where they're stuck. So in our high ticket selling model, that's really what the structure is doing. You're seeing where they're stuck, and then you're showing them how the plan they can do, which is your offer, right? That's what the discovery is about. This is where you're stuck. This is the system we follow to help you have your best year ever in this area, right? And this is my offer. So this is how these things start to weave together. I hope this is making sense to you guys. So let's see, travel your way session. Okay, I like that, travel by Ken. And but is there anything else? Like, does your person wake up and say, I want to travel my way? What does your person say? Are they looking for travel at the best prices? Are they looking for the finest luxury travel, the opposite end of the spectrum? Are they looking for a travel agent who gets it, a well-traveled travel agent who can give them advice? Like, what's your special thing? There's a million, billion travel companies out there. Where do you stand, and how can you put that outcome, travel made easy on a budget or luxury travel made easy? How can you put that in there? So this is great that you guys are actually trying. So it's luxury and gets it. Yeah. So luxury travel by someone who gets it, discovery session, right? Let's find out what's been standing in the way from you having smooth, wonderful, luxurious travel for business or pleasure, right? And a go forward plan on how you can always have that at your fingertips. So that's the promise. Okay. So, like in my case, if someone is, they love you, but they don't buy from you, you're not making irresistible offers, you're feeling like a best kept secret, right? So I might have like a nail your offer discovery session, something like that. And, the promise, the second piece might be something like find out exactly why your offers aren't selling and, a strategic plan on what to do about it. And so we would talk, we would follow my high ticket selling model. I'd follow that structure. I'd find out what's in the way. And then my invitation, if they're a right fit client, would be my offer. The strategic plan is to work with me through my offer. So that's a whole nother body of things we'll cover and eventually in the Monetize Your Mission mentorship. But hey, today, these are the 3 things to include when you're making the strategy session offer. So remember, number 1, the outcome laden name. Number 2, a promise. It's not free coaching. It's really to find out what's standing in their way in your XYZ area and how to fix that, what to do about it, a strategy, a plan on how to, the thing they want, their best year ever, the most profits ever, to be visible, to have luxury travel at their fingertips. So that's number 2. Okay. So number 3, who can guess? Anybody guess what number 3 is? This one is so often missed. I'm just curious if I have any star students in here who can guess. I don't mind you blowing my punch. Okay. Eileen's got find your best health so you can achieve your life's purpose discovery session. Great. I mean, it's Okay, you might say, is that too wordy? I like it because it's English. So, plain English, what people actually say is the key, not marketing speak. Jenny says, the get out and be visible. Yes, like there you have it. So you see the difference? This is so good. You guys see the difference? Think of yourself. We all want to get out and be visible on this call. So if Jenny was offering a time to shine strategy session versus just in a few minutes of mentorship here, she's now going to call it the get out and be visible discovery session. Woo, blow my hair back, right? This is powerful. And that's how Vinny went out there and out of 6 people made 2 sales and 3 discovery sessions and had made that, $2,700 before he got home that day. So that's what's possible for joining me for the $18 trial and Monetize Your Mission. My birthday present to you. Okay, the third thing when you're offering a discovery session, okay, I don't see anybody sharing it here, so I will give it to you. Last chance. There it is, Jenny. She's been around my campus for a while. The value. So many of us, we give a session and we forget the value of our time. So, like, if you went to a doctor's appointment, not let's say it was like a functional medicine or integrative health, that's going to be $300, $500 value for their time. When people talk to me, I mean, I'm $25,000 for a VIP day. So technically, my discovery session is about a $5,000 value if you're going to talk to me for an hour. So, there could be a big range. And if you don't know where to start, my recommendation is go with a $500 value. If that feels too much, go with a 2 or 300. But a lot of my clients, when they don't know where to start, $500 value. And when you put those three things together, you're actually respecting that you are offering this, get out and be visible discovery session. We're going to find out what's standing in your way from you being seen and known and heard by your ideal client and exactly what to do about it. And this is a $500 value that when you book your session with me here today, now on this call, on this appointment, on this YouTube live, on this masterclass or webinar, you're going to get it complimentary. You're going to get it free. Do you see the difference between that and just like opening your calendar with no value? So that's what Cindy did. And she got 103, I think it was 103 strategy sessions from one talk. People saw the value. They wanted to know how to have their best year ever in the mortgage industry, right? And she really, really shared what the outcome would be to find out what's standing in your way from that and the exact strategy to have a breakthrough. So that is number 2. So we had our mindset shift, money, love, speed, right? Listen, act, trust, right? Inspired action. Now we have what are the markers you need to hit for one-on-one appointments? And it's those 3. Name it, give it an outcome, and give it a value, simply put. And the last thing that I'm going to cover is what do you do if you're selling, we call one to many. So you're doing a webinar or you're doing a master class, you're speaking on a stage, your stage or someone else's stage. How do you make the offer pop and go from maybes to yeses, right? So this is what this is all about today. What are a couple things? There's a lot of things that we include in mentorship and in the Nail Your Offer program that you get. You stay in mentorship. There's so much that you get, and it's all there. Actually, let me post the link again, because again, if you're getting value today, actually, I just did here. So this is the link that you see there. It's tinyurl.com/MYM mentorship. So when you go there, and you go ahead and grab the $18 2-week trial, you'll get to be on the live call. We'll open up the special module on bonuses. That's what I'm going to be focused on in this month's. Every month has a topic, a high value tool. So I'm going to be focused on bonuses, and I'm tying that in because that is actually what I'm going to talk about a bit now on this third shift to turn your maybes into yeses. So when you're selling one-on-one, in order to turn your maybes into yeses, if it's a right fit client and you've made your offer, what you want to do is you use something called a fast action scholarship. We don't necessarily use bonuses and limiters. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of that today. It's a little beyond the scope of the promise of this YouTube video, but I will in future videos. So if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel so that you get future notices when I'm doing the next thing, I will go into fast action scholarships more deeply in a future video. But when you're doing discovery sessions, that is the methodology to make the offer irresistible right now. When you're selling one to many, we don't use a fast action scholarship. We use what we call a bonus plus a limiter. And these two things need to be used in tandem. So, a bonus is something that, aside from the main service you're offering, I call the main dish, whether it's a one on one coaching package, a live event, or a bunch of VIP access as a service provider or professional service provider, like however you package what you do, that's the main dish offer. But aside from the main dish, you want to have a bonus, something that when they buy the main dish, they're going to get the bonus. And we want the bonus to be something that they would probably pay the whole price for just to get it. So it's got to be pretty hooky, pretty good. Now, that is this month's topic in the Monetize Your Mission mentorship, is how do you find bonuses? What are right fit bonuses? What mistakes do we make with bonuses that actually end up killing sales, right? And so we're going to go deeply into that. In fact, the minute you register with your $18, we open up the training on bonuses. So you'll be able to watch it today and start using bonuses more effectively in your business without being pushy or salesy. So you want to have a bonus. A couple of tips I'll pull from there on bonuses. One is that it's related to the main dish. So we like to take like the biggest concern that someone would have about buying your main offer and handle it with a right fit bonus. So for example, with my Speak to Sell bootcamp, so I have a digital program called Speak to Sell. We go through the Speak to Sell formula. It's how to speak and make your offer. So we call it a talk that you love and an irresistible offer that sells. And that's exactly what we're helping people with. The biggest concern for people with the Speak to Sell bootcamp in buying it, they want it, they get it, they know it's going to change everything in their business, and it has for many, many people, is that they're not sure where they'd get booked to speak. So when I realized that that was the thing that was concerning people about buying Speak to Sell, I created a bonus called the Get Booked Toolkit. And so the Get Booked Toolkit gave people 108 places they could speak and get clients. It gives people emails to send, sample emails that I've actually used to get booked. We made it into its own thing. It's a $500 value and you can't buy it separately. So when I started adding a bonus, now here's the clincher, write down not just bonus, but limiter, got to be together. This is where people fall short. One of the biggest mistakes, we'll cover this deeper on Thursday in the mentorship. So one of the biggest places that people fall short is not using a limiter. So they use a bonus, like I say, if you're ready for Speak to Sell today, you get $1,000 off, plus you get our $500 Get Book Toolkit. See how I gave it a value? And then I'll do the same thing. It's named and I'll give it an outcome. This is our toolkit so that once you have your Speak to Sell talk ready, that you're confident to go out there and get gigs and be booked solid, like I have been for the last 15 years, right? It's all the same tools that I use. So I give it the same thing. You can take from number 2 and bring it over here. An outcome laden name, a promise, it's a $500 value. And people started buying Speak to Sell on the spot because it had the limiter that, right when I finish talking, I'm going to meet you in the back of the room. For those of you who are ready right now, or at the end of this webinar, before I finish talking, you click this link. Those of you who are ready right now, you're going to get $1,000 off and you're going to get the $500 Get Book Toolkit. So you see the limiter is the right now, or it could be the first 10 people. You can do a quantity limiter. So there's different ways to use limiters. I'll give you those 2 today, quantity and time. And when you put those together, then that gives people what they need to go back to the beginning from their heart. They're there from their head. They know they need your help, in my case, with making their offers with confidence and without being salesy. And then it's their heart that leaps in and says, yes, that I'm going to do this. Right. So it all fits together, right? Inspired action, heart versus head. We've got all the pieces here. You guys learned a lot in just 50 minutes. So wait till you're on a 90-minute mentorship call where people are asking questions that have businesses just like yours. You're able to ask questions. This case, I can only do the chat with you, but on that one, we're in Zoom. So I can see you, I talk to you, I know you, other people get to know you. Lots of great networking happens. We even have a community where you don't have to wait 2 weeks till the next call. If you've got something coming up, you could put, hey, I've got this masterclass coming up and I'm not exactly sure if this is a good bonus for this. And those go to me and I answer them, round the clock for the whole time that you're in mentorship. So it's Lisa in your pocket. So that's really the key with one-to-many sales of how to shift maybes into yeses is to make sure you've got a really hot bonus, something that's tightly related to the main dish, right? And if it handles an objection and helps them buy, that's a big plus, right? And then that you use a limiter with that bonus so you're not chasing sales. They only get that bonus, could be today, maybe you're in corporate, so it's by the end of the month, maybe that's more appropriate. Maybe it's you've got what Vinny did is he said, I have three strategy sessions available next week. And he made a piece of paper before he went, a little form where said the time and where people could put their name, phone number, and email. And people ran back and took his 6 people, and 3 of them took strategy sessions because it was all decided and he only had 3 and it was right there on the paper. So he got those sessions. I know people who speak to audiences of 50, 100, 500, and they get nothing, no strategy sessions. They're not doing this. And that just breaks my heart. So that's not going to happen to you. All right, so much more to come. In fact, I'm going to make sure on Thursday, some of you might be like, I know the question you're probably thinking or the experience you've had is that I've tried using bonuses and limiters and I can't get them out of my mouth because I feel salesy if I say you've got to buy today or there's only 3. I will show you the anecdote to that on our Monetize Your Mission Mentorship Thursday. So there's a little hook to have you come and join me. And again, you might have a fear that it's hard to get out. I know sometimes there's a trial. And I'm like, I'm scared to get in this thing because I don't want to have to go through all this trouble to get out of it. Honestly, we only want you there if you want to be there. I mean, if you want to add $3,000 to $30,000 a month using these strategies, come. So come and try it, get our module on bonuses, be there for this call, enjoy it for 2 weeks, and we'll send you an email to remind you. If you don't want to be in it, you'll reply to the email, or you can always email support@theinvisibleclose.com. Hey, I don't want to go on. Fine. But if you do want to go on, you're going to get $100 off of our $397 a month rate, and you'll be just $297 a month to stay in mentorship. And my goal is that from the $18 trial that you have done so well that you're like, why would I not have Lisa in my pocket for less than $300 a month when people are paying 25 grand for a VIP day with her? I'm at a point in my life where doing these strategies that I've shared with you has given me so much more than I ever dreamed possible for myself. I mean, I've met my goals to where myself, my kids, my family, even the partner of my choice, if I so choose, we're set forever. And so I'm in the legacy part now. So I'm certifying people to be able to go out there and use my systems and help other people doing what I've done all these years. And I've started this mentorship program to just have a place that it's the best way I can think of to be on as many different sales teams as I can at the same time. So that is the tips for today. I hope you got a ton of value. Let me see what you've got going on here. All right, we've got Laura who's joined us. And we've got Eileen. Good. I can't wait to get to see you guys. Jenny's already a member. I love the work that you've already done here. You're already putting it to action. And take this to the bank because you will see, as Cindy did, as Vinny did, as 15,000 clients have, that when you focus on your offer, the sales come. There's a lot of things that they say, build it and they will come. Like you spend $20,000 on a website and nobody comes. But when you focus on your offer, when you just use that 90 minutes as a working meeting twice a month to go, what do I have coming up? Where am I going? What networking meetings am I going to? What events am I attending? There's a webinar I want to do, or I want to send email out to my list. And you've got a person to ask who's coached the best of the best in every field, right? The best of the best in health, from JJ Virgin to Bulletproof Coffee, right? The best and the best in business, from Robert Allen, early nothing down mortgage industry, real estate industry, John Assaraf, big brain training guy, was in the movie The Secret, Brian Tracy, one of my early business mentors, Jeff Walker, product launch formula, trying to think of all your industries. Anyway, I've coached the best of the best. I've seen behind the scenes with offers. And let me tell you, there's a lot of stuff people are showing you that you think, oh, I want that. If I could just get 1,000 people at 50,000 a month, that would be $50,000 a month. Yeah, but I can really tell you the ins and outs of doing that. And you can decide if that business model is right for your lifestyle. So that is also a big focus with Monetize Your Mission is the offer you're making friendly to your lifestyle? Okay, that's all I got for you today. I'm going to save some of it for Thursday. We're going to go deep on how to sell more with super hot bonuses. That's Thursday's session. Really, really look forward to having some of you in my orbit. I call it the orbit of the upward spiral of abundance because that is just my dharma. It's what I'm here to spread for myself, for you, and for all the people that we collectively touch from doing this work. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to see you inside the Monetize Your Mission mentorship. The link is there, tinyurl.com/MYM mentorship. All right. Bye, loves. Thanks for joining me. You're welcome, Rebecca. See you soon. All right. Any other comments before I go? All right. You take care, everybody.